But see, people have forgotten the Bible, though. They don't know the Bible. The way people in the 19th century, or even like Dylan's generation, the first part of the 20th century, most Americans had a pretty good acquaintance with it. Now they don't.
What's the solution for that?
That's a good question. And I just finished a commentary on about half the Old Testament. And that's part of what I'm really dedicated to, is trying to make the Bible better known. And a lot of the preaching that I do, people say, well, it's remarkable because you're talking about the Bible so often. Well, what else would you talk about? But for a long time, we didn't. A lot of our preaching wasn't biblical. So I'm dedicated to, making that central.
Meaning you were encouraged not to talk Bible?
Kind of. We were encouraged to talk about people's experiences. So
in homilies?
Yeah. Like to say the Bible's kind of too heady, or it's too strange, or it's this distant thing. So talk about, your experience, how it relates to their experience, and maybe bring in a little something from the Bible. And that was a disaster. I mean, to be honest with you, like my generation was trained to preach that way, and it was disastrous. The Bible is so much more interesting than my experience.
Yes.
And when I bring my experience to the Bible, and say, well, my world belongs in that world. My world should be drawn up into that world. That makes it more compelling, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I find that's, I guess, why traditionalist mass hits me from a different angle. There's not like this relatable. Like the homily doesn't okay, we'll let the all the air goes out of mass when that part of mass happens. When we've done a very prayerful, we've entered, it's very prayerful, the initial prayers, and then we get to the homily and there's this
right. Well, that happens when it's the priest's kind of own words and own experience dominating. Now, obviously they are my words, and of course my experience will influence it, but when that comes to dominate.
Let your hair down right before you're asking me to fully believe that we're about to walk through the death of Christ.
Yeah.
Seems like, huh?
They should be Christ's words, right? So the homily is an extension of the gospel, and it should be Christ's words that you're preaching. If it's Bob Barron sharing his private spiritual intuitions with you, well, then who cares? I might do that at a cocktail party or something. But at Mass, it's the prolongation of the gospel. That's what the homily is. But the irony is, the more I do that, the more compelling the preaching is, and the more it reaches people. If it's Christ's words, it's the Bible that dominates,